Wow, big surprise! I didn't expect to film anything else today, and it turns out there's a brand new movie on Netflix that debuted, and we got our first trailer probably like 3 hours ago, and the movie's already up. It's called the Cloverfield Paradox. Yeah, it's the anthology series sequel to both these films that I really like. Both these films I really liked after they surprised us with 10 Cloverfield Lane like 2 years ago. I was always surprised to see what Bad Robot was going to do next with J.J. Abrams' series, bringing it in, see what he was going to do next, because I know he's probably planning a bunch of other ones. I know this film's been pushed back quite a bit, but I've always been still excited for it, and I've been curious to see what they were going to do with this next anthology into the series. A lot of rumors going into it saying that it's going to tie in, and well, I'm going to stay non-spoilers for this review, but I will say there are a couple tie-ins to the first film, and I will say, let's get into this. The Cloverfield Paradox, it's a good, fine film, but I see why it made it to Netflix. I see why Paramount sold this one. It's definitely not as good as these two. I still think 10 Cloverfield Lane is the best in the series, but it doesn't even rival, like, how good Cloverfield is. I mean, like, there's things that happen in this film. There's questions and answers that are raised that are very unique to the purpose. But at the same time, this film had a very same aspect as, say, films like Alien or Life, with certain different elements to it, but a lot of I couldn't shake the feeling that that's what this film felt like. Also, there's a whole subplot that feels like it's just going towards, okay, we have to we're trying to explain how this is tying in, just how 10 Cloverfield Lane was, because my one problem with 10 Cloverfield Lane was it felt like it was completely separated to the last 10 minutes, and in this film, it feels like they're trying to connect it throughout the whole film, but in otherwise, it's also taking away from the story and not giving enough aspect. If you're trying to give us one aspect of enough things, you need to go back and give us more aspects of the other thing. And it wasn't balanced right. It kind of felt like a mess at times when it got into the story. Like I said, this film does ask some pretty heavy questions that I did enjoy, and it raises some questions as well for this whole Cloverfield place. This paradox, and if you don't know what a paradox is like, I'm going to stay away from like completely spoilers, but the whole situation that this crew gets into, because if you don't know what the film is about, it's pretty much about people stuck on a space station. And some stuff goes awry after they're trying to make some unlimited energy in space with this particle accelerator. Yes, if you watch The Flash, you know what a particle accelerator is. But they have this machine, and after they debut it, something happens to them, and a bunch of stuff starts happening on this space station. I know I'm being very ambiguous, but I don't want to give anything away, because I think it's better to go into this film not really knowing anything, which that's why I'm shocked. Like, I was so happy that this film was getting announced and that it was coming out tonight. Like, that's shocking. And that's something that Cloverfield's marketing would do. I mean, you look at 10 Cloverfield Lane, it was the same way 2 months before. Bam, just comes out of nowhere. Same thing with this film. This film was a big surprise. And now going into the Cloverfield Paradox, there's been a lot of things. Is this going to go to Netflix? Is it not? And again, I see why it's gone to Netflix. I don't think this film would have done as good as in the theaters as it did. I think this is the best viewing that people are going to get. Because seeing this film for free, it's fun. It's a nice adventure. It's a nice segue into this Cloverfield universe. It definitely is not the best one in the series, but it still makes me intrigued to see what else they'll do throughout the rest of the anthology series, because there's apparently one more coming out this year that I'm honestly more hyped for, which is a World War II film, so I'm curious to see what they'll do in there. I mean, let me get into one of my big pros on this, and that's the performances. The performances were outstanding in here. I think everyone did a really good job in here, especially the few main leads in the beginning. I mean, they really stirred the emotion and made you care about their characters a lot. It's just, as the film was going on, a lot of the things that happened to them, it just felt like it was coming from a different movie. And even though you do get all your answers in the end, I will say the ending was kind of a letdown to me. I mean, I liked how it ended, but I was like, I literally said as the ending was happening, I was like, please do not end here. Please do not end right there. And it ends. And I was kind of like, really? Like, 10 Cloverfield Lane ended in a weird spot, but also a fine spot that I'm fine with. But this one ended, and I was like, oh, that's it? Okay, alright. I guess this film's made to give us a point of view from something else into this Cloverfield universe, and it is a unique, interesting story, but it does borrow from a lot of other films that I felt like, that it never felt to have its own sense of style like these two films had, and that's where, in the end of the day, Cloverfield Paradox is an interesting watch. If you have Netflix, you might as well watch it. It's free. If you're interested in the Cloverfield universe, this is a nice expansion into that universe, and I'm excited to see where they go next in this anthology. It definitely is not a horrible mess of a film. It's not one of the worst films ever ever made, but this is still an enjoyable watch and a good film at that. Just definitely not as good as these, because I think 10 Cloverfield Lane really raised the bar. Again, I'm curious to see what they do with the marketing for the next movies coming into the series, but I do want to see more, and that's saying what I can say. At the end of the day, I'm going to give Cloverfield Paradox a C+. The film carries great performances, unique questions that it does ask, and makes you ask yourself if you were stuck in this situation, and does put the characters in this certain situations that you wouldn't really know what to deal with and how it could deal with, in unique situations at that, but at the same time it never shook the feeling for me that it felt like it was borrowing from films like Life or Alien or Aliens. Like, it always felt like it was borrowing from different types of sci-fi and space films. In the end of the day, it really boggled down the film for me and found it to be a mess with the subplots and kind of trying to connect this to the other Cloverfield universe, and I really feel like it would have just helped if they would have just stayed on the space station the majority of the time, and or if they were going to try and split it up into these different subplots, show an overlaying arc, and maybe add another 20 minutes in there that I think would have helped the film, because I thought the pacing was very fast-paced. The story in general, as it was going, I was very intrigued in, but at the end of the day, I liked the film. I just, honestly, if this was in the theaters and I would have seen it, I would not be recommending you this to go spend your money, but if you have Netflix, might as well give it a watch. Curious, guys, what are your guys' thoughts on this film? Did you like it more than me? Were you disappointed? I'm curious to hear this down below in the comments, so please tell me, because this is an interesting watch. This is a whole cool marketing spin that I really do like, and I hope that we get more of this down the road, especially with the next one. I'm curious to see how they do their Cloverfield marketing for Overlord. Props to Bad Robot. I enjoyed the film. I like this little universe they're doing, and I'm excited for the next one, to say the least, even though I was a little disappointed by this one. But I guess that's the best thing, is that I wasn't hyped with any of the trailers, so I guess this marketing was pretty good job. Guys, if you're new here, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because I love talking movies, I love talking entertainment with all you guys, and I do tons of things on this channel. And join Pope Nation, that way we can always talk movies and all sorts of entertainment over on my channel. I also got Sandwich John Films down below. You guys know I love being a part of this website. You guys know you guys got to check this out, because you guys can get invited to advanced screenings, see some movie news, and also get some other movie reviews on there. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.